Wow, this match was just so brutal. And Inner Circle and Pinnacle, they was beating the mess out of each other down on the cage while Chris Jericho and MJF was on top of the cage. And Chris Jericho had his walls of Jericho. Lee Champion had the walls of Jericho and MJF, but MJF, man, he was in this hole for a good while, and MJF was already bleeding, so we could just imagine the pain that MJF was in. And man, Jericho, man, he gave it his all in this match. Jericho was just giving it to MJF. He bust him open, and wow, just MJF, he just wouldn't give up. He had his hand down like he was about to tap. I was like, uh-oh, he about to tap out. But MJF, he stood in there. He stood in there, y'all. It was just crazy. We're going to have more good pictures from the ending of this great match. Woo! Yup, and as we can see right here, MJF had his arm submission on Chris Jericho. He was biting Chris Jericho's arm, and he also made Jericho bleed as well by hitting him with his diamond ring. I was like, damn, that diamond ring, boy, was shining. But Chris Jericho, man, he was resilient. He didn't tap out as well. So MJF had that move on for a little while as well too. And he was like, Chris, tap, tap, tap. I was like, it's so funny when they be saying that. But yes, it was still more crazy stuff happening down in the ring. Everybody beating each other up. And they was all looking up at the cage to see what was going on. I was like, man, this is insane. But MJF and Chris Jericho was just getting it on. And wow, Chris Jericho just wouldn't tap out. Jericho would not tap out. Even after he bit his forearm, and I think his forearm started bleeding too. So I was like, wow, I know Chris Jericho was just going to be in a lot of pain after this match. More to come, y'all. More to come. So as we can see right here, the defiant Chris Jericho, the lead champion, he just would not give up. And I was like, come on, Chris, do something. I was having so much fun watching this. But MJF, boy, those fans was booing MJF. Every time he was hitting Chris Jericho, they was booing him and booing him. And it was just crazy. But I give it up to MJF, man. He hung in there. He hung in there throughout the whole match. He hung in there. And Chris Jericho, man, he hung in there as well too. So it was just a brutal, brutal match. But the Pinnacle had won this match because of what I'm about to show you next. And it was just insane. I'm telling y'all, an insane ending for this match. Coming up, it is coming up. Woo! Wow, this was the conclusion, y'all. MJF had threw Chris Jericho right on those steel steps. That was insane. And while Chris Jericho was on the steel cage in that same position, Sammy just did. I think Sammy, I guess, did the right thing by saying he surrendered because he didn't want MJF to do this. But MJF did it anyway. And I was thinking like he was going to do it anyway because they was already on top of the cage and you could see how the camera angle was. So I was like, yup, it's about to happen. So this is what happened. Chris Jericho got sent down from the top of the cage all the way down here. And wow, I think Chris Jericho is just going to be out for a while. Wow. And man, that's just the heart of a warrior right there. Chris Jericho gave it his all in this match. And Jericho didn't give up. So MJF just threw him from the top of the cage all the way down. And it was just a brutal, wow, it was a brutal sight. Everybody was coming around. The inner circle came around there as well too. But In my mind, I don't know. I kind of thought the ending was a little, I don't want to say bad. It was just a little weird because, like Santana and Ortiz, I thought they was gonna climb up the cage and help Chris Jericho because that's what it was looking like. But Sammy had already threw in the towel, so I guess that was it. But in my mind, I do not think this is over between Inner Circle and Pinnacle. I think this is just going to heat things up between between these two groups on AEW. But what a main event, though. This was a great main event to watch, and I'm glad I got to saw it on AEW tonight. Lee Champion has got to rise from this. Woo!